Okay, we are live. So, I have found that with the limited time slot that we have, that creating a pre-made scenario with some characters that I've somewhat developed is better for getting towards as close to a conclusion as we can in the time that we have. So, going to. So this is being pitched as if it were the beginning of the second season of a TV show, and the conclusion or the climax of the previous season is what I have written up in the doc. So last season on Jagged, the vampire, after a season of manipulation and planning, has killed one of their best friends, the queen, and converted the werewolf's lover, the mortal. The werewolf confronted the vampire, and in the struggle, the mortal died as well. Filled with grief, the werewolf took the mortal to the cliffs and threw them into the ocean. Distraught, the werewolf fled town. The town name is Jagged, howling at the moon along the way. Unbeknownst to them all, a Selkie wrapped their arms around the mortal and brought them to shore. By some miracle, the mortal is revived and is now a ghoul. The queen, now a ghost, followed the werewolf and slowly over time convinced the werewolf to return to Jagged. A summer has passed, and now a vampire runs this small town, and they're holding a party this Sunday to celebrate everyone's return to school tomorrow morning. Jagged is on Vancouver Island, so this takes place in Canada, and there are storms always on the horizon and a dark forest as well. So, given that, we need to choose from the characters. We will go over starting questions and strings, and then we will jump into this party scene at the beginning. So, does anybody have any of those characters that of the 5 that they want to play, like that jumps out as them as being what they want to play?
I'll probably pick last just because I have the most familiarity with all of them.
Okay, that's good.
I find the Selkie a little bit appealing, and the vampire is don't want to go there because I'm bad at being bad.
Okay. All right. So Charles was thinking about the Selkie. Is anybody else thinking about the Selkie?
I was thinking about the Ghoul.
Okay.
That seems attractive to me.
Cool. So Selkie and Ghoul. Eugene, what are you thinking? I can't hear you.
Sorry. I was thinking Ghoul or Werewolf. I'm feeling tormented this morning.
Okay. I think we might all be. There's a bright day star out, and it plagues me at least. So would you be willing to play the Werewolf then, since Larry's thinking about the Ghoul?
That's
okay.
Fine.
All right. So Fraser, you have the vampire or the ghost?
I'll try the vampire. I don't think I've played one before.
Okay, great.
He seems to be a bit of a central character here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I kept the genders undecided, so feel free to choose whatever you'd like. There is a spreadsheet in the folder called Jagged Monsterhearts Play Sheet, and that is where the characters can be built. I also have a picks folder. If you have your own picks, that's great, but if not, here are some pictures to choose from. So the PDF of the reference sheet and skins is where the rules and all of the skin information is going to be.
Should we all request edit access, or do you want to, or is there something you want to change?
Nope, that's fine.
Looks like it's view only for me.
All right, let me share it. Anyone with the link can edit. Done. Try reloading the file and see if you can edit now.
Looks like it.
Cool.
Yep.
Where? Sorry, where did the photographs go? Pictures?
There's a link in the text window. Do you see that? The second drive link?
I don't. I'm sorry. I'm not very good with.
That's fine.
If you look on the top left corner, there's a little blue bubble that looks like a chat window. If you click it, it'll open a tab, and there'll be the 2 links right there.
Oh, it's over on the side. I'm trying to look at the side. All right. Okay.
Many to choose from.
Yes, I tried to have a wide selection, which may lead to some paralysis, but were you able to find it, Larry?
I think so.
It was the second link that was the pictures folder, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Oh wow. All these like sort of sexy, despondent people.
Yes.
Beautiful people.
Exactly.
Abundant people.
Beautiful monsters.
So each skin is going to have 2 stat lines for you to choose from, and so we won't be doing the I don't need to tell you about previous editions. So on the bottom left of the second page of your skin, it'll have a list of stats, and you just choose one of those 2 and update the spreadsheet with that.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I was looking at something else.
Sure. So on the second page of your skin sheet, in the lower left-hand corner, there is there's 2 stat lines, and you just choose one of those 2 to be your stats. So the moves that come with each stat are as follows. So, having trouble with my computer here. Hold on.
I am on the characters tab.
No, I'm sorry. So on the PDF in the folder that says GCMH con scenario reference sheet and skins.
Got it.
So
okay, now I'm seeing it.
If you have a high hot, you can turn someone on really well. If you have cold, you can shut someone down. Also, keep your cool. If you have volatile, you can lash out physically or run away. And dark is for gazing into the abyss, which is very similar to the reaching out to the psychic maelstrom in Apocalypse World. Basically, there is some undefined bit of darkness out there that wants to answer your questions for you because it wants to guide your actions. And so if you have a question to something that you can't get an answer to, gazing into the abyss is the best way to do that.
Let's see.
Oh, okay. Do I just always have the curious condition that kind of showed up on my
Curious condition.
and harm is at 1 of 4 for on my sheet, and I didn't touch these.
I apologize. That was probably left over from the previous game. So no, let me delete the curious and take you down to 0. Does anyone want have any specific questions or?
Go ahead.
I'll just need a few minutes to kind of go through and make the decision. Sure.
But if the process itself has any questions, please let me know.
I am not nearly caffeinated enough for this.
Yes.
Something else you might. Do you use for your party, or just do we grab physical dice, or what?
I'll do roll for your party. Let me go and get that set up. We are a remotely large sturgeon.
Aren't we? That's true.
Oh. Hmm. So for my look, I put foreign, the scare quotes there indicate that from what I read in the setting, like native people would be here, and they're sort of like the lower class, and I think it would be interesting to play her from that. So having just, it's like, oh, is she really foreign? Like the Native American isn't foreign, but it's certainly different, right?
Absolutely. The tribe in Vancouver Island are called the Ucluelet, if you want to use that.
That will be important. Let me copy that.
Okay, I think I'm done. I just need to run to the washroom real quick.
Oh, okay, great.
You don't have to run. I'm slow. It's my awful attempt at humor. in the interest of play your character like a stolen car. I was looking at Body of Water, and it's like my old school mentality is like being able to heal myself would be nice, and then I was like, that's boring. let's sing a haunting song and save the town from the vampire or something like that, or convince the vampire to not be such a dick.
Gotcha. Perfect. Yeah, aim for a great 2-hour session.
Yeah. No, it looks like the way that like experience is always just like 5 points, and then you'll get one that next thing in the dot. I don't anticipate we'll level. I don't care if we do. It's like, oh, if I get XP, what does that actually do for me? Okay.
Yes. Avery.
Or do you go down the list?
I'm sorry?
You choose any one, like I have to take +1 as the first thing, or I could perhaps take another move if we're rolling a lot or whatever. Just
no,
hypothetically.
You can choose from anything. Yeah, you can choose anything.
Cool. All right.
And what was I trying to say? I've gotten lost here. Avery recommends that halfway through a con session that people be given an advance.
Another move.
Yeah. So when we take our bio break, we'll be doing that as well. Fraser, I have custom string questions.
Okay. It's not the default ones. I'll just delete that then.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
How did you all get your photos over there?
You just hit insert image at the top.
I downloaded mine to my PC and then re-uploaded it.
Okay.
We've got them down by row 44 if you want to take a look at them.
Would it make sense to like reword or instead of making it like an extra backstory to have strings on, like what we've already been given, rather than I watched someone swimming? I guess that it would be like, I rescued the ghoul and I've got a string on.
So I have custom string questions that we're going to do.
Oh, okay. So just don't do the strings on bit yet.
Yeah, I did a play test where I did the regular character strings and the custom strings, and it didn't work out. There was just too many strings flying around. So we're gonna try just the custom strings and see how that works.
All right.
Sorry to trouble you guys, but would someone actually be able to insert picture 18 into my thing? I'm having a hard time.
Sure. Yeah,
sure.
I can do that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Let's see. Which one was it again? Sorry.
Number 18.
18.
These are really great. Especially this one. You make so much sense for the Selkie. It's like that picture just screams Selkie all over it. She's like clearly just out of the pool, like a Selkie would be.
There you go.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. I look so tortured. Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm just about there, I swear.
Oh, no worries. We're half an hour in, so we're doing well.
Holy cow, you're giant.
Okay. Yeah, that always happens.
Oh, that's definitely a Selkie.
Right? It's definitely a Selkie.
Awesome. We've got picks. We've got moves chosen.
I've only played the playtest for Monsterhearts 2.
The trick or treat.
So I didn't even hear. I don't even know what a Selkie is, to be honest. So.
So there was a collection of skins that came out with Monsterhearts 1, and so I think somebody mentioned playing a Sasquatch. I'm sorry who that was, but the Sasquatch and the Selkie and a unicorn and a few other things are in it. And really recently, they got updated to 2nd edition as well. So,
okay.
Yeah, I think it was called Second Skins.
Yes, 2nd skins, exactly. Okay. Go ahead.
What is the Selkie though? Like, what's the touchstone for them?
It's a Irish fairy. It's
Oh.
basically a.
Oh, so it's like, is this instead of the Fae for Monsterhearts 1?
No. It's the fairy is still, or the Fae is still in Monsterhearts. This is one where it's a creature that can take off its pelt and turn into a human when it does so. So they're forever away from their original home, which is the Underkingdom, I think it's called, and they can somebody that has their pelt can make them do things because they want to get their pelt back. So it's this constant back and forth of, well, why don't you go and do X? And then that person, the Selkie, goes and does that and comes back, and they're like, well, still not yet. So it's a bunch of, I don't know. It's not quite like blackmail, but it's something like that.
Yeah.
And then, am I right in thinking that when they wear their pelt, they look like a seal, and the ocean is the bottom of the ocean is their kingdom, or something like that?
Yes, if they put their pelt on, they turn into a seal. More specifically, when they're a seal, if they take their pelt off, they become a human.
Right.
Oh yeah, as one does.
Sure.
I'm on Wikipedia looking around to get a sense of what the pelt is. Does it matter?
It's one of the questions I usually ask. I like it to be like a leather jacket, so that people can wear it around and show that I own Nula's jacket right now, and But whatever you want it to be, if you want it to be a collar, a shirt, a watch, I'm willing to work with whatever your creativity comes up with.
I like especially kind of going with the native North American look. That would be a leather jacket like that.
Sure.
That totally fine.
Cool. Very cool. Okay, so does anybody have anything left to do? Okay, I don't think we do. So let's move forward here. So Eugene, you've got the werewolf, right?
Correct.
Tell us about Luna.
So, Luna goes by they pronouns. Is athletic. So perhaps a member has a familial relation with the local. Could you tell me the name again of the local native population?
Sure, Euclulet. And if you're looking at the character sheets,
yes.
Charles has put in that on row 5.
Yes, I see Euclulet. Okay, so perhaps Euclulet, but perhaps a different, a different tribal affiliation. And let's say, I don't know, what else should I be describing here? Primal looking, is kind of feisty personality, has savage eyes.
Okay.
Muscular frame.
What moves have you taken?
I have taken Howl at the Moon. I think with the name Luna, that seemed apropos. But they also have an edge to them, so primal dominance.
Okay, and let me
as
just
well.
quickly look those over. So when you hurt somebody, you gain a string on them. Okay.
Mm.
And when you are Bast in Moonlight, you act as if you have Dark 3. Well, we will be starting up the game in Moonlight, so that will be good for you. Very cool. Okay, thank you. So Charles, tell us about Nula.
Muted, Charles.
I thought I pressed the button after it reminded me. Thank you for reminding me again. Nula is definitely Ukululette, and she has just, of course, recently taken to land and is a little bit curious about this this new world, and doesn't quite know what to make of the ghoul yet. There's they were certainly worth rescuing, but I think she'd have her reservations. Yeah, she identifies as female.
Okay.
Her moves are Outer Skin, Keep Away, and the one that I picked is Siren Song. So she'll be a bit of a siren.
Okay, let me take a look at those. Let's see here. So Outer Skin, as we know, you can put on your pelt and you'll be a seal. Deep Kingdom, I always call it the Under Kingdom. Your pelt cannot be destroyed. When you pursue a task that the current holder has asked of you, add 1 to your rolls. And stuff happens if they don't give the pelt back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you took Siren Song. When you're soaking wet, you can sing a haunting song. Okay. As a reminder for the Selkie, when you have sex, it counts as being submerged in water. So, a little bit of a combo there. Okay. So, cool.
I did not even see that, but thanks for pointing it out.
Yes. Oddly enough, Selkie probably has happened in more of my games than any other skin. So that is one I'm familiar with. Let's hear about Cassius.
So I think it'll be Cassius.
Cassius, okay.
And I chose that because he's many ages old. So I'm thinking like in his, at least he pitches it to people that like I was around when Troy happened and shit like that, right? But who knows if he actually is. He is for sure very old, but perhaps not that old. He is, let's see. I've got smoldering eye, smoldering body, I think that is, dead eyes, and many ages old. And then the picture there is like he always has a beanie on, and he looks like, you know, perfect model type dude from whatchamacallit, those what's that show, the Vampire Diaries?
Sure.
Yeah. And yeah, apparently I'm a little bit of a mastermind, I think.
Okay. Tell me about your powers.
I've got hypnotic taken, and I've got the feeding. Hypnotic means I can manipulate people as long as I don't have strings on them, and the feeding is exactly what it sounds like. I bite you, and then we both get XP though, so it's real good.
Sure. To be clear, it's people who don't have strings on you can hypnotize.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. They don't have any power over me, right?
Right. Okay. Cool. And lastly, we've got Iggy, the ghoul.
And you are muted.
Sorry. Okay, I'm just not going to do that. Yeah. So Iggy. Well, as I wrote, so I'm not sure how to interpret wrecked exactly. I just feel like, because she fell into the water, so I don't think she's like, it's not like her limbs were torn apart and then put back together, but she just sort of like something traumatic, obviously physically, has happened to her. She sort of retains some of that even after like the resurrection. Hollow eyes and resurrected, so again, basically intact, not like scar marks or anything like that. And except for hunger thrills, I think dying has just sort of changed her whole perspective on. I know she's already died once. Like she's not afraid of death anymore, and like, yeah, I feel like she's maybe trying to fill some sort of void through like that kind of adrenaline rush type thing. And then I chose the move ending, which, if I remember correctly, is basically meaning that I think I would, when I describe the way that I died to somebody, like I can turn them on.
Yes.
Yeah.
You get two moves. So, is there another one that you wanted that you know of?
Oops. I thought the hunger was okay. So I get one on top of the hunger.
Yeah, you get two on top of the hunger. Yep.
Okay. Oh, in that case, then I think I probably will. I think I'll probably go with short rest for the wicked. I think it just sort of pairs up nicely with the hunger for thrills. That I can be, totally reckless.
Cool. And that's the one where when you die, just wait and you'll wake up.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Cool. So, Monsterhearts touches on a lot of subjects that can affect people and make them uncomfortable. And so there are two main techniques I like to use for people if they are having trouble with the content. There is the X card, which we will do by just putting an X up on your monitor if you can, or typing it into, my audio is low. Okay, let me.
No, I was asking, could you boost Larry's audio? He was a little
Oh, I
quiet
see.
for me, and if you
Okay.
boost it, yeah.
I see. How? Let me see here. Do I click on their? I've not done that before. Do I click on their profile?
It's
Or-
in control room, and then you'll see like everyone's name and an audio slider. You
I
can
see.
just move people.
Okay. I'm going to bump up everybody just a little bit, and including myself. Cool. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
All right. So, so either type in X in the chat room or hold up your arms if you can, and we will stop what we're doing. We will rewind, and we will avoid any content that is bothering you. And if you need to step away, please do. No need to explain. If you can make it back, just let us know what's going on and that you want to continue playing. If you can, if you're going to step away from the game altogether, just please let us know. So that's that. If you have any concerns, just let me know. Okay.
I'll also add that Roll for Your Party supports the X card and some other stuff. So if we've already got our eyes there anyway, and it has sort of the added feature, I guess, of doing it anonymously. So.
Oh, very cool. I've never used that before.
Yeah, all you'd have to do is, just click that black X card button, and then there's sort of a
note that it comes up.
It is,
I see.
Talking about the X card was X carded.
Very cool. So, you learned something every time you do this.
He's always adding new features to this stuff. I keep telling myself I'm going to help him work on it, but he's like light years ahead of me. Anyway.
Let's all take a look at the doc in the folder Starting Questions and Game Notes. So Cassius, that night months ago changed things forever, but was it all according to plan? Would you have preferred to sacrifice the mortal and convert the queen, or convert them both? What about the werewolf? Did they play their part? What plans do you have for this town now? How does the party play into those goals? So that's the entire paragraph. So did everything go according to plan those months ago?
No, I don't think so. I think the plan was to have the mortal as bait and convert them both.
Okay.
But
The
then
both
things
meaning-
went sideways. Like both the mortal and the queen, I was going to convert, and have under like my thrall. But that did not happen. For the werewolf, what was it that the werewolf did again?
The werewolf ends up killing the mortal in
Oh yeah, so
when they show up.
no, they didn't play their part then, because maybe that's the thing that went sideways, right? Is maybe the werewolf changed and killed the mortal because of whatever circumstances, and so I couldn't have them both.
Okay. All right. So when you said that the mortal was bait for the queen, I've got the ghost set up as an NPC. So is there a relationship between the mortal and the queen? Now the ghoul and the ghost, or was there one?
It could have just been that like the queen has their posse or whatever, so maybe they cared as much about the mortal as much as they could control them, right? Because they have that mental link. So I knew that if I had the mortal in my grasp, then they would kind of project those feelings onto the queen, and that is what made them good bait. I don't know what the relationship was exactly between them, but
Okay.
yeah.
I'll let Larry define that, but cool. Very cool. So what plans do you have for this town?
In Vancouver, I think I want to.
It's Vancouver Island, if it makes a difference. It's a small town. It's a tourist kind of town.
Okay.
It's a big island.
I think I'm tired of moving around from place to place as I don't age, and so I think I'm trying to manipulate circumstances in this place so that either enough people are in my thrall that I'll never have to leave this place and stop moving, or I sort of make this my nest and kill everybody if they don't let me do that.
Cassius is a nice person.
Yeah.
So what part does the party play into that, if at all?
I think the part is that they're the most likely people to resist me, even if they don't know it yet, because we're so young. I've got ages on them, so I know that at one point or another, they would rise up against me. So I want to either get them on my side, or I want to remove them entirely.
Okay. And is there one specific thing you want to accomplish tonight as part of that part of the party?
I
asked this because the last time I ran it, the person felt a little bit in the wind. So I'm just trying to help focus you in on something if you need to.
Maybe I want to. The goal, I think, is to sway at least one person to my side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So take one string on Iggy and one string on Tien.
Okay.
And give 2 strings to the one who screwed up things most.
Maybe Nula, because I just never saw a Selkie coming. I was just like, what the fuck is this?
Okay. All right. So keep that in mind, Charles, for Nula, that whatever you've done, you've screwed things up the most for Cassius. So you have a choice. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I could interpret that as sort of just being in the general sense that Cassius wanted Iggy gone. like gone, not back as a ghoul. So just the very act of the Selkie rescuing Iggy, that is the biggest thing that screwed up Cassius's plans. It might be a little bit sort of like just plain, but I have no doubt that we'll make things interesting out of it.
Cool.
Sure.
Okay. And Cassius, you are either calculating or heartless. Take one of those as a condition.
Heartless.
So in terms of play, whenever you are interacting with, you're making a move against Cassius. If you can bring in the fact that they're heartless, you get +1 to your roll.
Yeah.
Cool. Alrighty. So let us move on to Luna the werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
When you confronted the vampire, they had just converted the mortal, using the queen as a sacrifice. Did you kill the mortal because they betrayed you and fell for the vampire? Or did you take their life to spare them the awful fate of being a vampire? Why didn't you kill the vampire? And does that reason stop your hand still? What did you say to the mortal before you tossed them into the ocean? So,
All right. So go
set
ahead.
the scene for us. Just set the scene for us. What happened?
So I can imagine that Luna, in love with, is it Iggy? Iggy was the mortal, but is now the ghoul. Is that right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Learns that she is in danger. Iggy is a she. Is that the right? Okay. And rushes to try to save her from the vampire, only to find that Luna is too late. So they think that this is an awful curse, contrary to, all things natural and good. So they kill Iggy to save her from the awful fate of being a vampire. But it is the most painful thing Luna could have done. It breaks her, or them, I guess I should say. And so Luna their spirit is broken. And that is why they didn't kill the vampire. So it was like the last of their strength. They see that all of their effort has failed. They kill Iggy and just don't even care about the vampire anymore at that point for the moment, because Iggy is gone. That's all they are focusing on. So they take Iggy to the edge of the sea and say that now that you're gone, the moon will never shine for me again. There's nothing to live for, and I'll throw Iggy into the ocean. So that's why I haven't taken up my hand against the vampire, because I've kind of like lost my fire. The fight has gone out.
Okay. So take 2 strings on whomever hurt you the most.
That's gonna be, yeah.
Wait, why? What?
Yeah. So I have 2 strings on Cassius. Okay.
Man,
Yes.
who am I gonna hypnotize? Jeez.
That's true. That may be difficult.
Don't worry, I'll burn through them real quick, and you can. So, and then who else would I do? Give 2 strings.
To whoever hurt you the most.
Oh, same person. Oh, okay. So we exchange.
Doesn't
Oh
have
no,
to be.
whoever you hurt the most. Oh, I got it backwards. Okay, no. The vampire has 2 strings on me.
Okay.
Because the vampire hurt me the most. But I'm gonna say I hurt the ghoul the most, or Iggy, because I feel like it was my fault, right? That I failed Iggy. So it's really the vampire was just being a vampire, right?
All right. So Iggy, take 2 strings on Luna. Okay, Luna, you are either vicious or spurned. Take one of those as a condition.
No, I realize my little origin story doesn't match with either very well. All right, used to be vicious, now feels spurned. Let's say that. So I say no. I mean, she didn't spurn me precisely. That's why I was like, how about vicious? That might make more sense.
Okay. So since we don't have anybody playing the ghost, let's just go into what happened. So you fled Jagged, and the ghost has convinced you to come back. Are they doing so because they want to help you heal your traumas, or are they doing so because they're trying to get revenge?
I'm going to probably say the latter because that's more interesting, I think.
Okay.
They realized that that the vampire thought I was a threat, perhaps. And so that's why the vampire had set this whole situation up to break my spirit. And it succeeded. But the ghost wants me to get back in the ring.
I'm a wiener.
Okay. Okay, on to Iggy. Iggy, your resurrection changed you physically as well as emotionally. But what was the source? Was it a side effect of being converted by the vampire? Or did the Selkie promise something to the ocean to bring you back? Either way, do you still feel any love or loyalty to the vampire? And do you still love the werewolf? So first question, what was the source of your resurrection?
I think it's more interesting if it's something that the Selkie did. Selkie, Nula. That's gonna be difficult to. Luna Nula. Okay. Yeah, I think it's something that Nula did, and I guess I'll leave it up to Nula exactly what the nature of that promise was, but I think that was the source.
Okay.
I totally did not see that either. I'm sorry. I try to pick names that don't conflict, and I just didn't see that one.
It's okay.
That's cool.
Okay, so I will turn to the Selkie in just a moment then. So, do you feel any love or loyalty to Cassius?
So yeah, I'm trying to work my way through that. I think the way I got converted in the first place is that I was originally in a relationship with Luna, and right, but then I was tempted. I basically cheated on Luna with Cassius, like some sort of seduction, I think that was going on. And that's
Okay.
how the conversion process happened. Um, right now, so after the way everything went down, yes, I think I'm gonna have my sense of betrayal is gonna be directed actually at Luna and not Cassius.
Okay.
So yeah, I feel love for Cassius, and I do not love Luna. Actually, the exact opposite. Like I feel like betrayal and maybe even a sense of like wanting to seek revenge.
Okay. So, gain a hunger for Cassius.
Okay.
I'm like your cinnamon buns.
And to whomever you feel vulnerable to, give them a string. So that can be anybody else.
Right. I mean, I think it's got to be Mila, because of their role in resurrecting me. Like, I don't exactly. I think a little bit about the psychology behind that, but I think it's got to be Nula.
Nula. Okay.
Like maybe you don't know what kind of weird magic or bargains with the ocean she made to bring you back to life, and you might wonder, kind of like the mom threat, like I brought you into this world, I can take you out. you wonder if that might be true. So you would feel vulnerable in that way. Technical note.
Yes.
Maybe by bumping up everyone's audio, Mark, you kind of like didn't actually bring up Larry as much as I think we'd like if he's coming through as low for.
All right.
Yeah, he's still a little low for me.
Oh, really? Maybe I should just talk louder.
That's a little bit better there.
Yeah. Okay. I'll use my public speaking voice.
It wouldn't matter. Like if you can max out his volume, then he can just talk normally.
Yeah, especially if you're playing a lot of games today, you really don't want to be streaming your voice. Like just normal talking volume is where we should be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let's try this again. Okay. So, oh, I see some questions in here about infidelity.
Hmm?
Uh, So you say that you don't want to know about the infidelity.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say I'd like to run that by, Iggy, because it involves that relationship. The way you described it was that you have turned your back on Luna, or have no longer want to be in a relationship with them, and you fell for, perhaps because of their vampiric powers, or perhaps just their innate charm. I'll leave that up to you, Cassius. But so then you feel that I betrayed you somehow when I killed you. I suppose that is kind of a betrayal, right? You're kind of upset about that.
Yeah.
And because, you were happy with Cassius, you didn't need saving. Thank you very much. But I don't, so I was proposing, I didn't know that. Right. And so that could be something that comes up later, perhaps at an inopportune moment.
Yeah, no, I think that works.
Cool. One note for your skin, Luna, is that if you have had sex with someone, you do know if they have sex with somebody else.
Yeah, it's a pack
Ooh.
thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Or maybe you're just lying to yourself.
Maybe I just assume, it was under the mesmerized condition or whatever. They were, the power of the vampire compelled. There's rape or something like that.
No. Rape is not sex. Rape is not sex. So.
Okay. So, okay. Fair enough. So, all right. Well, let's say that it was under the persuasion of the vampiric power, which is another way of saying I refuse to accept what I think I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Is that okay with everybody?
Actually, I think maybe like that physical relationship between Iggy and Cassius wasn't consummated, so to speak. Like we just didn't. There wasn't any sex, like consensual or otherwise. Yeah.
Well, is it intimacy and sex, or is it strictly sex moves in this game?
Oh, right. I don't know.
That's what. Yeah.
Monsterhearts does sex moves, as far as I know. So.
Okay. So
Okay.
perhaps drinking blood wouldn't trigger that move.
If you wanted the same emotional thing to happen to you, what if in your relationship she was not sleeping with you, like you guys hadn't reached that point, and then in that fallout, then she turned to me and we did, right? That's a very Vampire Diaries thing to have happen.
Yeah, so that's right. So the werewolf sex move wouldn't have been triggered because they hadn't yet had sex.
Okay, that works. Yeah.
Cool. Alrighty. So.
Sorry, I keep dipping into coffee and such.
Okay.
I don't think we'd gotten a little bit distracted. Yes, thank you for making that little correction. Deep Kingdom.
Yes. Okay, let me put some names in here. And
so, how did you want to sort of handle the ghost? Would we go back to flesh out where those strings go? Like, who makes those choices?
They're an NPC at this point. I am. Let's see. If they'd been a character, they would have given some strings. Okay, so I'm going to give. So Luna, take one string on Tien, and I will put the cold as ice condition on them. Let me update.
Cold as ice.
Put that in here. Okay. So our last set of questions are for Nula. You've been watching The Mortal. You've been watching Iggy for weeks before that trek at night. Often you watch them sitting on the edge of the cliff and humming or singing to themselves. You'd wished to the ocean that you could reach out to them. Now they're in your arms recovering on the shore. What do you want more, to stay with them on the land or to bring them back with you to the Deep Kingdom?
I want to stay with them on land. She's very, I I believe her stats indicate that she is pretty. No, actually. So she is not physically attracted, but sort of has this curious mental attraction.
You can be as attractive as you want. The stats don't like.
Oh, okay.
It's always subjective anyway. So if you want to be really attractive,
suffice to say, again, yes, Nula was interested in this this pensive, moody human, and now she's got a chance to get to know these creatures a little bit better. But I think she'll always be torn with wanting to return, or convince them to come back and to the Deep Kingdom and show them her ways.
Okay.
So it would say each of you gets one string on the other, and I am either curious or jealous. I think curious makes more sense.
Okay.
Turns out.
So Iggy, you get a string on Nula.
Ah, okay.
And I have a string on Iggy. And someone stole my pelt, and they figured out how important it is to me. They said they'll give it back if I do something for them. Each of us will gain a string on each other. Seems like things are pretty tied up with the vampire, and he'll get in things anyway. So I think it makes the most sense to have one with that Luna has my pelt.
Luna, not Cassius.
Luna, not Cassius. Yes.
Okay.
And I guess for my string in particular, I'll put in parentheses has pelt on down in the string section, because that's kind of important, right?
Sure. Yeah, you need to know who has your pelt.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Luna, how did you or Luna and Nula, how did this happen? How did you gain the pelt?
Might I propose that the ghost is manipulating me into this situation, and knew that if I discovered that my former love was alive again, and got involved that way, that I might take up arms, so to speak, or claw against the vampire. So perhaps the ghost led me, and I discovered it, and now I have. That's what, I don't know, off the top of my head. What do you think about something like that? It might not quite work.
I had to take it off to be human and be with Iggy on the beach. So it might have been thrown off to a pile of rocks somewhere, and she's. I don't know exactly where we are in the timeline, but maybe she forgot about it a little while. I mean, it's hard to forget about your pelt, but she's in an emotional moment of being overtaken with curiosity by this. By Iggy.
Yeah, she has legs for the first time. She's running. So I'm like, oh. Maybe I'm even jealous now of your connection with Iggy. But I'm afraid to approach Iggy, because I do know that, well, I did kill her.
Okay. So what I'd like to say then is that Tien was the one that was silently witnessing all of this and took your pelt from you, Nula, and then gave it to Luna. Okay, so we've. Does that make sense, there, Iggy?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. Okay, great. I've got a request for a break before we do the first scenes. So come back in 5, and we'll get started.
Cool. Hello.
Welcome back.
Hello.
No, Mark. I think you've been saying Cassius, right?
No, I mean your actual name.
Oh, everyone always says Fraser. It's fine.
I'm sorry.
And how do you pronounce it? Fraser? Like
Yeah, Fraser. It's like F. It'd be like phrase and then SIR kind of, right? Like sir instead of jur. It's not a big deal.
Fraser.
Yeah,
I
well,
remember wrapping my head around that when I was attempting to learn Russian. Like they've got two characters, and one of them is a sh character, and the other one is a sh. It's a very subtle difference.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
no I. That's all.
I'm blanking on your name, but somebody is muted. Eugene, right?
I was for just a moment. Yeah, sorry. Rhymes with phaser, like the Star Trek weapon. Yes.
Yeah. That was kindergarten. Or freezer.
Okay. So, there is a big party in Jagged, British Columbia, about to happen. Cassius, is this home? So there's the party's taking place at a large home on the beach. Is this a home that you own, or is this a house that you've taken over in the past few months, or how have you come by the house?
Yeah, I think I took it over. I think it's a really nice house, so I probably just like came upon the owners at the beach and just hypnotized them and told them to like go to Rome or whatever.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on vacation.
Okay.
See, I'm actually a pretty nice guy.
Yes, that's what I would say. You're a nice guy.
Yeah.
So let's make it easy to remember. Let's call them the Romans. So
Okay.
you now have the Roman household to yourself. It is a 2-story beach house that has direct access to a private portion of the beach. And have you invited the entire rising class, or has this been a select party for you to choose from? Who gets to come to the party?
Yeah, I think everyone can come. And I think I've, at one point, maybe some kids in the summer were like partying on the beach, and I hypnotized one of them. So the invite actually comes from like some nondescript students so that even more people will come. Like even those people don't know it's me. I'll just be showing up at the party to stir up some shit.
Okay. Okay. So, who? Let's turn to Luna. Do you show up at the party like secretively, or do you just come in through the front door? How do you arrive at the party?
Well, the party wasn't advertised as this is Cassius's party, right? So so Luna just arrives wearing this kind of nice leather jacket that they just got recently, and kind of with a chip on their shoulder.
Do you bring Tien with you?
No, let's put it this way: not intentionally. So if Tien, who seems to be always getting her nose in things, follows along because she'll know where I'm going, then I can't stop her.
Okay, but you're not arm in arm with her.
No.
Okay. Okay. So, Cassius, are you there from the beginning, or are you going to show up late after people have already gotten started?
Yeah, late, like a typical like when the sun is just cresting below, like, or not cresting, but just dipping below the horizon. That's when I like walk up the stairs.
Okay. All right. I'll get to you in just a moment then. What was the name of the person who's technically holding the party? Who did you hypnotize?
Let's go with a douchey bro, Chad.
Chad. Okay. If you all need any NPCs or anything like that, if you'll take a look at the Jagged answers, I've got lots of NPCs and locations and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So if you see somebody on that list that's better than Chad, let me know.
I'm sorry, what list? We're taking care of some couple stuff.
I see. So I had asked Cassius who they'd hypnotized to hold the party, and I'd forgotten to mention that in the folder there's a file called Jagged Answers, and there are names of NPCs there and other stuff.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe let's go with the girl that grows all the weed then, because then everybody would show up for sure.
I just saw that one and was like, that's so great.
Yeah. People definitely gonna come just for some free stuffs, especially since it's good stuff.
So is her name Chad?
Oh, does it say the name?
It doesn't.
Oh, that's not very helpful then. Okay. Yeah, sure. We'll just name her Chad.
Okay. So Chad, it comes up to you, Luna, as you're coming in, and she's like, "Hey, welcome. Nice jacket. Where'd you get that?"
It's gonna, I don't know, around is, you seen Iggy?
Iggy. I think she's down on the beach by the bonfire. Have you checked there yet?
The beach, huh? Yeah. No, I haven't been there. And then I'll be like, all right, are you holding or?
This entire party's holding. Come over here and let me just show you what I got. And
So I'll go.
All right. So Chad leaves you to the living room, which has lots of paraphernalia and drugs available. All the drugs. No, just weed. Do you smoke up?
Sure, a little bit.
Okay.
Before I go for my nice walk in the moonlight down to the beach.
Okay. So, Iggy, are you there by yourself, or are you with Nula or anybody else? Sorry, I know you're eating, but you're muted.
I didn't want you guys to hear my eating noises. Yeah, I think I'm definitely not by myself. I mean, I think there's gonna be like other like random people there at least.
Okay.
Let's see. I mean, Cassius and Luna are already accounted for, so the only other person who could potentially be with me would be Nula. And it is by like the water, so that kind of makes sense. Yeah.
I think that's sort of the only in that I'm really seeing into this thing, since I'm like being entranced by a party. I guess she'd be curious for sure, but I don't know who she'd hear about it from, and I think Iggy makes sense.
Okay.
Especially if it's by the ocean, so totally comfort zone.
Okay. So the two of you are, say, hanging out at the bonfire. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm entranced by this ritual and fire.
What do you say?
It it's so much heat, and you dry off so quickly. It's tempting to flirt with it and get close and too hot, and then go back to the ocean to warm up. So she sort of like is doing this, maybe a few little iterations of like getting wet and then coming back to the fire and drying off, like in a way that's almost like it's not quite painful, but it's like just different and kind of a weird way. She's never dried off that quickly before in the presence of the heat of a large bonfire. So she's acting a little weird, I think.
Okay. Iggy, how do you respond to that?
Yeah, it's called fire. And but I think I'm also sort of like entranced a little bit by the flames. I think like I end up like walking like not into the flames, but like way more close to the flames than like a normal person would do, because of all the heat coming off of it. And then just sort of like, yeah, I guess sort of like gazing into those flames.
Oh, okay. So are you feeding your thrill hunger, or are you trying to gaze into the abyss?
I think it's more,
Or
gazing.
neither, but
Yeah.
okay.
I'm not sure how that actually works, but
so you need, if you're going to gaze into the abyss, you need to have a question in mind, something that you want to know the answer to. Is there something that you want to know? Like maybe where Cassius is, or since you have a hunger for them?
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay. So let's head over to, all right, sorry, plugging in my computer there. Let's head over to roll for your party.
Okay.
And you've got a dark of -1. So if you'll choose 2d6 and you can put in a label. Okay, so you've rolled. So that's a 3 and a 4. That adds up to 7. But you have a -1 to your stat.
Oops.
So that takes you down to a 6. And as we know, that's where I get to make the moves.
Mm-hmm.
So you're staring into the fire, and you're just wondering, to the darkness, where can I find, Cassius? Where can I satisfy my hunger? When you feel a hand on your shoulder, and you feel like maybe the abyss has given you what you need, but as you turn around, it's Tien. And
Oh.
I thought you were dead.
Well, I don't know where you're getting your information, but obviously I'm not.
So what are you doing here at the party? You looking for someone or anyone?
I don't know. Have you seen Cassius around?
Oh, okay. That's how you're playing it. Okay. No, I haven't seen Cassius. I haven't seen Cassius. I've seen oh, you know, your they bay. Luna's here.
Oh, really? And where are they hanging out?
They're up at the top with Chad, exploring the possibilities.
Exploring the possibilities. Well, he can stay up there.
So Nula, you've come back by now, or are you off in the distance waiting? Are you in the water? What are you doing? You're muted.
I'll make some things interesting, and I'm not exactly sure how the turn someone on move works, if you can do it inadvertently, or if that's a very intentional thing.
So who would you want to be turning on?
Someone that's checking her out at the campfire. And maybe that would introduce a new NPC, or if that isn't really, like I said, I'm kind of fumbling around here, but if it would make sense for me to head back up to the house too and get with the rest of the gang, I can do either.
Okay. Well, you can see there's a brooding presence that's questioning Iggy right now.
This is still around the fire?
Yeah, this is Tien has shown up.
You know, if Iggy's still around, which she is, I think, yeah, it might make sense to try to turn her on instead of the brooding weird figure. So I think, you know, she's kind of trying to show off to Iggy at this point, by being a little bit eccentric, I guess. Okay. But also the kind of the being like soaking wet in her clothes and then drying off again a few times probably could be used to her advantage to turn Iggy on. Okay,
so you come back all wet, ready to dry off again, and you're gonna roll hot to turn Iggy on.
All right. I'm going to use pips, and I will skip these.
Oof. Oof.
The too hot does not help there.
Yeah, I was about to bring up strings and things like that, but even with a 5, well, I don't know. Let's just double check. Are there any conditions that Iggy has? Iggy, you don't have any conditions, do you?
Wouldn't that still only be a +1? Is the cutoff a 6?
You could do a condition and a string if you had them. I was going to see if getting them to a 7 would work. So
string condition of Iggy is
Iggy. Do you have any conditions?
Hey, y'all write conditions in the spot.
Okay, I don't think you do. So
was
no.
I the one that took a condition in the starting questions?
I've got one.
There's spurned and heartless.
Or something? Oh, I see. It's down there. Okay. I put it on the other side. And I'm just not looking in the right place. I'm sorry.
All good. And you got curious. Okay. So, I think you've turned on somebody that you did not want to turn on. So, Tien is now looking at you and checking you out. And
the ghost should also have a condition for while I'm...
Yes, cold as ice.
Oh, okay.
I just put it in the wrong spot.
Sorry.
Move that up here.
And Iggy does not... No.
Well. So they Iggy Tien kind of pushes past you and walks over to Nula. And what's your name, little one?
Oh, I'm Nula. Nice to meet you.
And she holds out her hand, kind of as a, handshake kind of thing. Do you take it?
Yeah. This is something humans do.
her hand is very cold. Very, very cold. And it almost feels like it's pushing like through you. Like it might be intangible. But then she pulls back.
I kind of stare at her with a bit of disbelief and glance at the fire and our proximity to it. And how can you be that cold with the fire right here?
It's just in my nature, I guess. Do you think you could help me warm up?
And she looks pretty uncomfortable now, and makes a gesture towards the fire, like maybe if we got a little closer to the fire. And she's got that little trembling quiver of fear because she doesn't know this person and is just from isn't really sure what's going on right now.
Okay. So we're going to cut away from you for just a moment. Cassius, it's time for your entrance.
Yeah, I have a thing in mind to introduce me.
Okay.
I want to have put a kid at the party under my thrall to go up and talk to Luna and start a conversation that is at first normal, but then quickly turns into something that clearly is upsetting and provokes her in some way. Like they'll be like, "Hey man, you want some weed?" And Luna would be like "Fuck off" or whatever. And then they would say like, "It's too bad about Iggy, isn't it?" That kind of stuff, right?
Okay. Why don't you play that NPC for a second then?
Okay.
They've obviously got your words in their mouth.
Yeah.
Do you have somebody from the list you want to use?
Ooh, yeah. Let's grab a list person. Jagged answers. And at one point, I really want to see this giant white elk.
This is for a campaign, so I apologize if we don't hit all of these today.
It's that rich kid who sleeps with everybody, and their name is Grant, I think.
Okay.
And yeah, I think. Well, Luna, what are you doing? The last thing that we saw was you were just heading to the bonfire.
Right.
No.
Yep.
Oh, were you? Okay.
Well, after whatever, having a hit off the water pipe or something, I'd head down.
Okay.
Sure. So, yeah, I think as you're heading down, the annoying kid that sleeps with everybody is like, "Hey, how's it going, Luna?"
So yeah, Luna's starting to walk down the stairs. I imagine this big like wooden stair that zigzags down this hill above the water, and like, how's it going? I don't know. It's going okay, I guess. What do you want, Grant? I'm not interested, you know.
Everyone is interested in Grant. Let's be real. You have a chip on your shoulder. Why don't you come up the stairs and go to a room with me?
Grant. So then Luna is walking and has been ignoring, but then Luna stops, squares their shoulders to Grant, steps really close and says, "Grant, fuck off." Steps back.
I think he, like, at first it starts, like, if this was a movie or TV show or whatever, you start walking away and it's all like normal, and then from behind you hear, it's a shame what happened to Iggy, isn't it? And it's kind of got like that weird supernatural thing, like where it's almost my voice, but it's someone else's voice box, so it can't be. But it's like modulated enough that you're like, this is probably not Grant.
Right. Yeah, and you see Luna like crunch up their shoulders, like, you know, you can tell the shiver goes through them and they feel it in the pit of their stomach.
Is it lonely in the dark?
their hands grip the railing and, start to splinter the wood. Teeth grit. Like, stop.
I think Grant gets pretty close so that his mouth is right against your ear, and he says, "I know something you don't know."
Grab the shirt. I can see like this, like, I don't know, Oxford shirt, like
Oh yeah, the
Tommy
most douchey
Hilfiger
wear.
shirt. Yeah, right. What?
And then I think I like drop the spell, and he starts like freaking out, and he's like, "Oh my god, Luna's trying to beat the shit out of me."
Yeah, like then I Luna just like shoves them, down on the ground, and then turns and like just runs down the stairs. Like,
And Chad is like, "Oh man, I bet Grant was trying to be rapey again."
Yeah, like, damn, god damn it, Grant.
Okay. So did you want to appear, Cassius, or are you just hiding in the shadows, or?
Yeah, I think, well, like, especially since we've established that, what's his face is a little rapey. Now that I'm done with him, I kind of like want to be in the same shot as Luna walking away. I grab the Grant and just sort of like twist his neck and throw him under the house, like it's probably stilted because it's a beach house or whatever. So I just chuck him in there, and then I think I want to just continue to be in the shadows and listen and try to like get closer to these people as they're interacting, so I can get more dirt on them.
Okay.
Do I have to roll to kill the guy?
Part of me says yes. Part of me says no.
Yeah.
I'm for drama's sake, I'm gonna. Well, you can't get XP, but all right. For drama's sake, I'm just gonna say that happened. But definitely not gonna happen with a PC, obviously. So as the light is from the sun is going away, and the storm clouds are starting to roll in, it's hard to see anything other than who's standing by the bonfire. But who's standing by the bonfire is what you see, Cassius. You see Nula, you see Tien, and you see Iggy, and they're all standing pretty close to each other. And now you see that you've got a Luna rocket fired directly at them. Is there anything you want to do, or do you want to just let that drama happen?
I'd like to wait and watch it.
Okay. I just want to make sure you get your spotlight time. So.
Yeah, like, just I'd like to have the drama unfold, but if it was like a TV show, I'd be always like in the peripheral, like watching and waiting, kind of thing.
All right. If I don't come back to you and you want to jump in, please let me know. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So Luna, you're heading down towards the beach. You were pretty angry there. Do you right now you're bathed in moonlight? Is there anything you want to do?
So I can imagine Luna reaches the sand at the bottom of the stairs, and there's this shot over their shoulder of the bonfire. You can see these shadows in front of it, and for a second the light then catches Iggy's face, right? And so then I'm like, and I stop and I turn around and I face the steps like I want to go, but I look up at the moon and I close my eyes and I take a deep breath and let the moon kind of wash over me, and I in the air, and let's say I don't know, get a smell for the people here if I can. I mean, I don't know exactly what's the, I don't know, like, open my brain sort of thing.
It's called gazing to the abyss.
Yeah, I think I will kind of get in touch with that. Then
Okay, so roll dark. In this case, since you're bathed in moonlight, your dark is 3.
All right. So 2d6 plus 3. Here comes.
Yep.
So 3, 7 plus 2 is 9. Oh no, 10 because I have a plus 3.
Yeah. So, let's take a look here. click on the rules.
Moves list
So when you
here.
gaze into the abyss, name what you're looking for and roll with dark. On a 10 up, the abyss shows you lucid visions, and you take +1 forward to addressing them. So what are you looking for?
I'm trying to get a smell for Iggy's mood. I've heard, let's say, I mean, I'm assuming. What do you think, Iggy? We've already gone through that scene where I learned you were alive. I'm assuming, or no?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I came back, right? Tien told me, but have we seen each other since then?
I don't know if we had a conversation. Like, I'm alive, I'm back, but
Right.
maybe we haven't had that face to face.
Okay. So I'm trying to get a sense for how Iggy feels about me. Like, how is this going to go? It didn't. The last time we spent significant time together. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to get. I'm gazing into the abyss, trying to sense their mood, their state of mind.
Okay. All right. So, Iggy, would you say that your hungers are definitely in your mind right now, or is there something that's even more pressing than the hungers that you have?
I think seeing Luna is, I think it would trigger like the thrill seeking hunger a little bit. Like I'm gonna feel like volatile and reckless.
Okay.
And then also um, play of like rage towards Luna.
Is it fair to ask whether I could sense Cassius on you, like smell his scent, that sort of thing, or no? Are we not going to reveal that sort of thing yet?
Yeah, I'm around, so whatever you guys want.
Yeah, no, I mean, it may also partly depend on whether or not I've been hanging out with Cassius since the resurrection. And I think maybe that hasn't happened yet. Like I haven't been able to. Yeah, so I don't think
Yeah,
you
I
get like a
think
scent off.
I think I've just come back now. Like I want that opening fuckery with you to be like, I'm back.
Yeah. Okay, so I just am like, something's off with Iggy. Iggy has this hunger for excitement that she didn't have before. Something's weird, something's wrong, and underneath it all, this bubbling rage against me.
That's exactly what you get, and you get +1 forward to your next roll with Iggy.
Okay. So then the head hang low, kind of like a dog that's ashamed, kind of like approach the fire, like, oh, this is gonna suck, that sort of thing.
Let me pause you for a second. Nula, Tien was trying to get you to follow her to a famous little makeout point. Would you have followed her?
No. Nula, I'm curious about her Tien's nature, but not in a way that's going to put myself in danger. And I think that that her caution would override those senses, and it might also make sense that she sees Luna, or otherwise kind of senses that her pelt is very near and would be more interested in that right now. Also, like the access to the water and is sort of an important thing for her. I'm also like something else I had thought to do set with the water right there would be a siren song. So I may need to extricate myself from the situation. I don't know if that would be like shutting her down.
Yeah. Okay. So she's asked you, and she's like, I know a private place. They call it Witch's Rock. It's really creepy and fun.
Maybe later. Maybe
Okay.
another time.
Right. So you're shutting her down. So roll with cold.
Or at least I'm going to try. Yeah. Let's see. We're just going to re-roll these 2 blue dice.
Okay.
Seriously? Exact same thing.
Really?
Sometimes I wonder if it re-rolled at all. But it kind of...
Try re-rolling. Just try re-rolling again.
Yeah, let's just delete those and we'll summon 2 more dice here. Okay, that is a 5, but -1 is no bueno.
XP though. You're learning.
Yeah, get that XP. Yeah, I'm cruising here. 2 out of 5. Nice.
Okay. So you said you
I don't know what misses do, so I guess I'm gonna find out.
Sure. Okay, so my screen lost all the dice. So you said it was it's a 6 or below.
Yeah, rolled a 5, and then my cold is -1, so a 4 is not getting bumped up with anything.
No, it's not. Okay. So, So first of all, you've spent a long time talking to her, and you've dried off completely.
Okay.
So that's one thing that's happened. And she's like, you know, you come in all sexy, and then, you know, you don't want to, you know, do anything. What does she say? How does she put it? You're just a cock tease, so you get the condition cock tease.
Okay.
And as far as you can tell, you're the only one that notices that she just disappears. She doesn't walk away. She just disappears.
Man, you could have had ghost sex. Haven't you ever seen Ghost? It looked cool.
Or that scene from Ghostbusters, right? With Dan Aykroyd.
Or that. Yeah, a little bit less cool, but
Yeah, a little more creepy.
Okay.
Head hung in shame. I can't picture either of those scenes, but from what I'm hearing, maybe I didn't. Maybe I don't want to.
I wouldn't put them in the back of the book or anything like that. Okay, so Luna, you're filled with emotion as you approach the bonfire. Nula and Iggy and a few other NPCs are there. Someone's brought out a 6-pack and they're passing beers around.
So I can imagine somebody hands Luna one and she takes it and cracks, or they crack it open and take a gulp for courage, and then kind of stands in the periphery of where Iggy is talking to whoever Iggy's talking to at the moment, if it's Nula or if Nula's come back or if it's Tien still or what.
Tien's gone.
Tien disappeared, right?
Yep. So who are you talking to, Iggy? What's going on right now?
I don't think I was actually talking to anybody. I think I was just, you know, going back to the bonfire. But as soon as I notice Luna, right, then all those emotional reactions, right, start to bubble up, and I think I'm just going to be like pacing around the bonfire in this like very sort of like agitated state.
Okay, so Luna will see that, and then they will place themselves kind of in the path of where you're pacing, right? So just like, you know, kind of head down like the, you know, like the beta dog sort of thing. Like, hey, you're back.
Yeah, I am.
Are you okay? I mean, now?
Yeah, no thanks to you.
Well, you're not. You're not like Cassius. You're not You're not like him, at least, right?
Honestly, I don't know what the fuck I am. And honestly, I don't know what the fuck you care.
I was trying. See her, like the beer can gets crushed in their hand, like beer squirts out, like throws it in the fire. It's like, I knew you were going to turn this around on me. Look,
Let me guess. You were trying to protect me, right?
I was trying to save you.
Which is right. Did it ever occur to you that I didn't need your saving, Luna? Do you ever
Yeah,
think that?
yeah, I kind of did after I dropped you in the ocean. All my fault that this went wrong, that I should have never tried. I mean, what was I supposed to do? Just let you get transformed into that monster? You wouldn't want that.
You never even bothered to ask me what I wanted. That was the whole problem. You think what you fucked up was killing me and dropping me into the ocean. But your fuck ups began way before that.
So, Luna kicks sand and turns around for a minute, thinks about storming off, but turns back. It's like, look, Cassius set this all up, turned you against me, turned you against yourself, turned you into something else. That's not a way to live.
Well, guess what? I'm actually starting to like the new me. And I kind of like twirl around, like with my arms extended, like to, display myself, I guess, in a way to Luna. It's like I've got this new feeling all about me, new hungers, new desires, new powers.
I don't. I'm a little confused about strings. Do I have to be there to spend the string, or could I spend it from outside this scene
What's
to
the
attempt
movie?
them?
What use do you want to do? What do you want to do with the string?
I want to spend it on one of my strings on Luna to tempt them to be so angry that they they sound like a crazy person when they're talking about Cassius, right? Like he's all around us, he's everywhere, and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, in order to tempt the person to do that, do I have to be saying this thing to them, or is it like an ephemeral, ethereal thing that I could just spend to do?
In the game proper, it's you tell them, you remind them of like the power that you hold over them, and you tell them what you want, and then you take this, you spin the string, and then they can decide whether or not they want to do what you're asking for. So it's a very concrete thing.
Okay, can I?
Can I make a suggestion, or go ahead?
Sure.
I was going to say,
Go ahead.
perhaps that could be a result of the conversation through Grant.
Oh,
Right, 'cause that really did
I
take-
could have spent it as you were walking away because I
Yeah.
messed with you. Is
Right,
that cool?
because that was, you totally gave me the impression that you're talking through people, manipulating
Yeah.
the situation.
Yeah. So like everyone around you could be me and all that kind of stuff, right? So, okay, I'm gonna spend that to tempt you then. That's cool. And then I think if you do that, then you get XP, right?
Yep.
All right.
So everyone's looking at you, Luna, and they've got that look in their eyes like, is it really them looking at you, or is it Cassius looking at you? Like you're just surrounded by the vampire.
And plus you're already causing a scene, right? So it could just be like these two kids are fighting or whatever, and that's why they're looking at you, or maybe it's
Well, it's not just, so Luna then looks around, sees that all the heads have turned, the conversation has died down, sees Iggy do the swirl like it's the new me, and leans forward, and Luna like sniffs at her, and it's like, oh my God, he's controlling you still. All of you, you've all fallen for it. He's a monster. Don't you get it? And then I like kick a log and like that, send sparks flying up into the area, and everyone's like, "Whoa!" Right?
Dude, what are you doing? What's up?
Yeah.
So Nula, Log gets kicked into the fire. The person that owns your pelt is going crazy. Unmute yourself and tell me what you're doing. Unmute.
Oh no.
Every time. I'm a little worried that something is going to happen to the pelt, but I guess even though I know according to the rules he can't destroy it, they can't destroy it.
Right.
Sorry. But moreover, I think this is a way that I might be able to help. So I'm going to talk with Luna and approach them and
what do you say?
Try to calm them down, and go up. Luna, come on, get a hold of yourself. Come on, this isn't what the fire do to you. Come on, what you're saying is nonsense. Like, well, I'm not really sure what's nonsense anymore, but I mean, even if it is true, I mean, come on, you get it. Like, who is this Cassius character anyway? Like, I've not met them. He's just a boogeyman.
So Luna has stepped away from the fire, right, and is sulking off at the edge of the light, right in the border of the shadows, because no one's listening to them. And Nula comes over and says this, and then Luna turns and growls like, "You wouldn't understand. I don't even know what you are. Listen, you want this thing, right?" He grabs I'm very rough with the jacket, like, this thing, Say, here's what. You find out what Cassius is doing to control Iggy, because clearly she's under some sort of mind control. How do I stop it? How do I get her out from under his thumb?
Iggy seems normal to me, but I've not known her that long.
Cassius is somewhere, everywhere. Keep an eye out for him.
Well, if he's everywhere, how am I even? I can't. You've given me an impossible task here.
So do I know the backstory with you and Iggy, right? Like that you brought Iggy back to life, or no? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
So impossible task. I'll tell you what's impossible is what you did to bring Iggy back. But when you brought her back, she's wrong somehow. You did this. Fix it. Make it right.
Iggy, how do you respond to being told that you're wrong?
You're muted. Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
I can imagine like the two of them are like conspiratorially talking, but then Luna Luna's voice like goes up and it starts pointing at you, and it's like, she's wrong. You brought her back wrong. So
yeah, like fuck you, Luna. I've never been better, and at that moment, like, I'm gonna like leap through the bonfire, to satisfy in part like my hunger for thrills. And then also like just as like a display of like my new raw power and freedom. Yeah.
Don't forget to say, "Hold my beer first."
The beer is coming with me.
The beer's coming with you. Nice.
Yeah, I can see Luna see this, and because I'm assuming you take like a run up, and as you take 3 or 4 steps and begin to leap, Luna like leaps forward and is like, "No!" And then you jump through it, and they kind of collapse to their knees for a second because they had this like replay of you being endangered in the past, and it didn't go well for them. So it's like they see as you jump through the fire away from them that they're like you are lost to them. Right. So they don't know what to do about that right now.
And I turn back through the fire and I'm like, see, I never needed your protection ever.
And like some kids are like clapping and like, woo, Iggy!
Yeah. Luna feels dejected. Although it would be kind of funny irony if your actual clothes were on fire right now when you said that, right?
Iggy, I think you just shut down Luna. So why don't you go ahead and roll cold?
Okay. Oh shit. Which one's which?
It says the total's 8.
Oh, okay.
So what's your cold?
Great. My cold is. Which one is that? Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong document. +1.
Okay, so that is a 9. So, taking a look at the shut someone down move. When you shut someone down, roll with cold. On a 7 to 9, choose one from below, but you come across poorly, and they give you a condition in return. So you can make Luna lose a string on you. If Luna doesn't have any strings on you, you could gain 1 on them. You could give a condition to Luna, or you could take 1 forward.
I don't have any strings on Iggy, so.
Okay.
Okay. I think I want to give Luna a condition, and I'm thinking like maybe dejected or does that sound?
Sure. I assume these conditions all have mechanics behind them that I don't know. So I'll agree to that, but I don't quite know what it means. But that's fine. That sounds appropriate.
Generally, it needs to be something like social, like something that like you can have. Imagine a reputation. Like you just gained a new reputation. So
Earned and dejected seem a little similar to me. Am I the only one?
Spurned and dejected.
Oh,
yeah, I already have spurned. I don't know, like embarrassed or something, maybe.
Embarrassed seem like
or no, like maybe sort of slightly insane because you were doing that whole paranoid thing.
Yeah, crazy.
It could be the crazy kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
kid.
Call it lost.
I'll be right back, guys. Sorry.
Sure.
Tinfoil hat.
So I'm gonna write it as lost it, just because I like the sound of that. Luna's lost it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do one more bio break for people, especially since Larry has something going on.
Okay.
And when we come back, we will push towards some more chaos.
Cool.
Yay.
Yeah, I was thinking if I could get a chance sometime, but she's a little confused now and like has a task to do. So I'm looking to gaze into the abyss, and we can do that when we come back. So
okay, sounds good.
Might give me some hint of what's going on. Get me less confused. So.
All right.
Yep, sounds good. I'm sure Luna's gonna go look to have rebound sex, so all good.
We've taken a quick break. Larry. So everybody either take +1 to a stat. Oh, there we are. Everybody take either +1 to a stat or take a move that they might want. I know we haven't used very many moves so far, but
Yeah, that's cool. Stats are boring. Moves.
Hey, Mark, how do you get strings? It's just if you do a scene and it seems like you get a string, then you just get it, or?
I've played a game like that before, but the main way to get strings is to turn someone on.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Good to know.
if you shut someone down and
Yeah.
they have no strings on you, you can gain a string on them.
Okay.
You can end up giving away strings if you screw up lashing out physically.
Okay.
And then there are certain moves that you can have on some skins that will give you a. So like Luna can gain it from attacking you.
Yeah, primal dominance gives me it if I harm you.
Yeah. Well, I've been going hard on you because you're the only one that has power over me. So.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah. Like, oh, maybe
It's
I'll
cool.
just.
I think it's cool in Classic to have the vampire and the werewolf just going after each other.
Mm.
Okay, so right before the break, Nula wanted to gaze into the abyss. So
yeah, maybe. I think I still want to stick with that one. Ocean's Breath might open up some interesting stuff, but I think, especially considering that she's right next to the ocean, like if assuming like I have a little bit of time, I mean it's kind of a normal party. She'd want to get wet again and kind of lay and let the waves crash over her, and stare up into the sky to gaze into the abyss, just to try to sort things out or have some kind of revelation.
okay, that sounds great. So you're out at the ocean. A few minutes later, and your dark is a 1. So roll 2d6 and add 1.
Yeah, and as a bit of foreshadowing or like forecasting my knowing my intent, something I think would be neat. We can, whether it happens or not, whatever. But part of why like she's getting wet is she was kind of sad, saddened by the ghost, and that encounter left her feeling down, and her siren song will make everyone else sad as well. And she, in sort of a culture way, like having people feel the same way about you, like normalizes it and makes it feel better. So I'll feel slightly better at the end, or just by having everyone else be sad with me if I can pull that off. So that's part of her intent behind getting wet.
Okay, so you want to gaze into the abyss and pull off Siren Song, is what you're saying?
I'm not going to sing yet, so I'm setting myself up by by getting out to the ocean and doing being soaking wet, and then I'm going to come back to wherever we're at and probably try this Siren Song thing.
I understand now. Okay.
So gazing into the abyss, roll a 4. Oh, yay! I get XP. Yeah, that's only a +1. I'm not well, yeah. What were the 2 ways that you could
turn someone on or shut someone down?
Well, no, I was thinking the 2 ways that you can get a bump, because I'm at a 5.
Conditions and
had string and could make it relate to one of Luna's conditions, I think, because I'm trying to figure out how to do this thing for them.
Oh, you get a +1 pursuing. You automatically get a +1 pursuing what someone's asking you to do because they have your pelt. So that takes you to a 6.
And then
But you're not gazing at.
not gazing at Luna. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're gazing into the abyss. You're not actually like.
But okay.
You're not invoking her condition to do anything. So
the
their
string
their
being
their
an
condition.
option.
Excuse me. Well, a string would also be like you're like. Have you ever seen like Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
A little bit. I mean,
So
mechanically, would a string just be like when that other player is when that character is directly involved? Like
when they're directly involved and you basically invoke your relationship with them, then you can make things hurt more and make things more powerful against them.
Yeah, so it wouldn't make sense in this situation. I get it.
It does, and unfortunately, it does not.
More failure. Let's go.
Right. So,
is there a help move? Could I help them gaze into the abyss?
I wish you could.
Yeah.
Abandonment and isolation is kind of a theme sometimes. What you feel in the ocean, Nula, is the deep kingdom, and it just wants you back. It misses you, and it doesn't provide any answers to your questions. It's just come back home. Back home.
Here's an interesting suggestion, take it or leave it, but that might invoke Ocean's Breath. When I feel really homesick, the MC will detail something it thinks that will make me feel better, or takes away something it thinks is bothering you, and specifically notes that the ocean isn't very good at understanding the human world. So maybe that move triggers something arriving or getting taken away that is bad.
So do you feel homesick?
Yeah, I mean I think that's a reasonable reaction to being reminded of the deep kingdom, and she can't go back there without her pelt. So
which of those two do you want me to make happen?
I could leave. Oh, I choose one. Okay. I don't know that I have. We'll say brings forth something, because I don't have too many things that I think I could be taken away. So let's go with the first one. The ocean will bring forth something that it thinks will make you feel better.
Okay. I will think on that. I will. The ocean is working to bring you something. But
stinging jellyfish. That'll make you happy. I don't know.
So while the ocean's working on that, you said you've gotten no answer from the abyss though.
Nope.
What do you do?
And
you're feeling homesick, but you're just not getting the answers you need.
Yeah, so after kind of laying there for what seems like a little while, I would eventually want to just head back to the party and have my sort of catharsis with singing while soaking wet.
Okay.
I'll get up and after a while and head back, so I can kind of come in at some point that seems appropriate when we cut to you guys.
Okay. Cassius, what are you doing?
I have a very terrible idea to mess with the Selkie then. Because if I'm there and I see that they're probably pretty vulnerable, so I'd like to gaze into the abyss with the question of, like, is this person extremely pliable to me right now? And in which way would it be? Because I have, like, if you're really vulnerable, I'd probably try to turn you on and get you under my thrall in that way. But I think gaze into the abyss, like, I imagine the scene of, like, the vampire studying her in order to, like, yeah, better know her in order to turn her on.
Okay, so you want to know the best way to turn Nula on. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roll dark.
All right, and I'm actually super bad at this, so it's kind of funny. Okay, 8.
Vampire that's bad at being dark?
Yeah, I'm -1, but it's still a 7.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Okay. And so you gaze into the abyss with a 7. The visions, let's see here.
Confusing and alarming visions.
But
Which kind of makes sense too, because I don't think I know what the Selkie is either, right? Like I don't think I was around to see that they rescued Iggy, right? I think Selkie is kind of like an elusive thing to me, maybe.
right. So I think I'm going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. You you see Nula coming out of the water, right? And like you're trying to figure out what's going on, and your mental vision dives deep into the ocean, where you see a crazy kingdom that you didn't even know existed below the waters, and in it there are these fey creatures that exist, and it looks like um, maybe they're mobilizing or something, but like a group of them are getting armed, like armored and armed, and are proceeding through the water, and you get the sense that they're coming to you. And what you know is that if you're going to turn um, uh, Nula on, you're going to have to invoke the images of what you've seen of the Deep Kingdom. Does that make sense?
Sure. Okay.
And Noodle, that's the answer for you. Is the Deep Kingdom is sending people to quote unquote help you out. The ocean is bringing them to you.
Like the ocean really wants me back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's sending some armed guards to bring you back, but to
Okay.
help you.
Before Selkie wanders from the water, then I have an idea for a scene, but we can totally cut somewhere else first, so everybody gets
Well,
time.
I don't know. We haven't had any time with you recently, so let's jump on you.
Okay. I picture myself walking on water, and I think part of that vision explains why I can walk on water. Like water rejects me, right? So I walk on top of it, and I try to be as quiet as possible so that when I approach Nula, it's a little bit surprising, but I make my presence known in such a way that I'm not like, and I'm there. But I say the water is beautiful, isn't it?
Yes. And I don't believe we've met. What brought you out here?
I'm just here for the party. Isn't everybody?
Well, yeah. It's interesting. Haven't been to the house though. Is that where most of the people are hanging out?
I think so, but I think most people don't. Um, most people don't love the water like you and I. I've been watching you. I live around here and I come to this water every day. It it takes me in. It trusts me. Why do you love the water?
I feel at home in the water, as you can tell. Um, I I enjoy the feeling of the salt and in my hair, and the freedom of movement it allows. But I I've lost something up here, so I should be getting back a bit. How If you were from the ocean, like I know, why haven't I heard of you?
Well, the water's also fickle.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. I don't think I'm truly like you, but more of a. I love it in more of a human way.
So this
Yes.
is you turning her on, right, Cassius?
Well, I think what I say to actually try to do it is, like I figured this banter goes a little bit longer, but then the actual words that would provoke it is I like maybe since you're apprehensive and you're about to go, I say, are you sure you want to go? We could return to each other in waves. Is that not how water loves?
Oh my.
Okay, roll hot. Let's see how it affects you,
Okay.
Nula.
So +1. Reroll selected. 5, 6. I only have 6. Do you have a condition?
I have a few. I should erase that dry condition, though. I don't know if that's really worth tracking.
No, so a condition goes
curious.
away when the fiction removes it.
Yeah. And
Okay.
so.
Well, what about curious? That could be a thing.
I think that definitely falls into this situation.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like as I say it, I think that I make it clear by like I'm wearing some sort of linen garment and it falls away from my chest.
Oh my. Okay, so that takes you up to a 7.
Yeah.
Okay, and on a 7 to 9, they can either give you a string or choose one of the reactions. So
Okay.
Nula, this is all up to you. You can give. So first of all, you're going to be turned on, and you either give a string to Cassius, or you give yourself to them. You promise them something you think they want, or you get embarrassed and act awkward.
Yeah.
I think the get embarrassed and act awkward is most likely here, especially since she, had no reason to believe that he was lying. Like, oh, okay, you like the water. Well, I guess she'd sort of insist on like going up and touching his chest to like see what type of sense that gives, and that might be a gaze roll, but I don't really like. It doesn't matter a whole lot to me. Like what she saw, I guess, unless it was like he might be cold like the ghost, but I think she'd be willing to overlook that.
I think it might be dependent on when the last time you fed. Did you feed on Grant before you killed him, Cassius?
No, well, let's say that I'm hungry.
Okay.
Oh boy.
So what do you do?
I'd
I'd remark about that and give you a chance to sort of make up another awesome excuse. You're cold like Tien. Are you sure you're one with the ocean?
Well, as I said, the water is fickle, and I'm trying to come up with something sexy about warming up water.
Come, show me you enjoy the water. Let's get in the waves. And so I'm thinking the sort of like act awkward might come from if he doesn't have the ability to actually get in the water with her, it would be awkward because she was all ready to go for this, but now is confronted with clear evidence that he was kind of lying about the water thing. He invites him in there, and he kind of physically can't because of his, being a vampire and all.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe what I do is I say I'll show you the sun instead, and then I'll try to bite you. and get warm.
Okay. So you have a move called the feeding. Or feeding, maybe. Let's take a look at it.
Let's see. The feeding, yeah.
So before you do that,
I guess that's just sort of a sudden lash out physically.
Well, it could be a keep your cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
I meant the role that you're making, Cassius.
Oh, if it works, it would be the feeding move. But I think
Oh,
the
it's-
question is if it does work or not, since it's
so
like
yeah. So Cassius is going in for, I'm guessing, what looks like a kiss.
yeah.
How do you react to that, Nula? Do you let him kiss your neck?
Not really. She wanted to sort of have him prove that he would get in the water first. So, I don't. It might be a bit of a struggle or a quick move or something like that. But she would want to like be connected in the waves before getting romantic. And
Can you get in the water, Cassius?
No, I don't think so. I think as I was talking about the water, we were just at the shore, and as I like to imagine that as the water comes in, you can there's a shot on the TV show of the water just going beneath my feet instead of lapping against it. And then as she pulls me into the water, I realize I've sort of been found out, and that's why I said, "Let me show you the sun instead." So I imagine it's sort of like a playful thing where we're moving into the water, but as I imagine us moving into it, it becomes more of a oh shit, at least I can feed thing.
Okay. So if you have a choice then, Nula, if you want to stay there and prevent being fed upon, you'll need to keep your cool, and if you want to leave, you'll need to run away.
I think running away is probably just where she would go.
Okay.
Because yeah, she's just a little bit.
Do either of you have strings on each other?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
Let's see.
Volatile. Oh, I am at a -1. That'll be awesome. Either way. Let's go. Pick these two. Delete. And... Oh, wow. Yep. Snake eyes.
Wow.
I'm awesome. I think I've rolled nothing but misses this entire game.
But you're learning the most.
This happened to a player when I was running the game. I felt so bad for him. Them's the bones. Okay.
So you do not run away.
Looks like I'm getting bit.
Yep. All right. So let's do the feeding.
Okay. So you feed on hot blood direct from the source. If this is the first time they've ever been fed upon, you both mark experience. So there you go. You learned lots.
I learned tons.
Yeah. When you feed, choose 2. You heal 1 harm. You take 1 forward. They definitely don't die. Yeah, they definitely don't die. And I'll take +1 forward. I'm feeling good, and I bet I feel a lot warmer now.
Okay. So there's a scene on the edge of the beach where Nula is being fed upon. Cassius, does this feel good for the victim, or does it feel bad? Or something else?
I think it feels. I don't think it feels bad. Like it doesn't feel like physical pain. I think it feels like going to sleep. Kind of like you have that dizziness and confusedness about it, but I'm not sure it's like an erotic feeling.
Okay. So one last question for Nula before I turn away. If you're falling asleep, might you sing a lullaby? A siren's lullaby?
I think the only person that would hear it would probably, I guess, is the bonfire. Are the bonfire folks like close enough that they would hear this?
It could be like your way of being like, well, you know, a defense mechanism or something against it, right? Because, you know, usually people don't, like, unless you have narcolepsy, people are just like, oh shit.
Yeah. Okay. And at the very least, like you were found out to be a liar, and then you sort of just snuck up and did bad things to me. So I'm at least going to get back at you, and maybe with extra success, the people at the bonfire. I don't know how we want to play that, but yes, I will at least attempt to make you sad. And it looks like I just did that with the siren song. So
and plus you could definitely probably use my condition of heartless in that as well if you're trying to make me sad.
Well, here's the neat thing: is Siren Song doesn't require.
Yeah, it's not a roll. It just so you will give me your full attention. I guess anyone at the bonfire, if it affects them, gives me. And I choose one. What additional effect aside from paying attention to me, which will draw everyone's attention to you, which is kind of fun now, and you will connect with these sad emotions that I've been having, and we'll all begin crying.
Awesome. So,
is it like like a really sad Irish wailing type song? Like what?
Yeah, it's like a I forget the term for it now, but it's one of those just single female vocalist songs that's very very mournful, a little bit. You know, I guess you think of something like "Oh Danny Boy."
Cool.
I was hoping for Galway Girl. Damn. Okay.
I don't know that. Sorry.
No, Galway Girl is like really fun, and you went the opposite, so it makes sense.
Okay, so let's flip over to the fighting couple, Luna and Iggy. Whatever you were feeling before, now you're paying attention to Cassius feeding on Nula, and it makes you really, really sad, and you begin crying. So, either of you, what do you do?
This is not a major change of state right now for Luna. Luna was already devastated, at a loss. They'd lost it, so now they just feel more conventionally sad. So it's like they feel almost like if their raging emotions are kind of muted. But I think they will, in the sadness, see that there is Cassius, and go into. There's going to be a mix. I don't know how the siren song works. Can I feel sad, but also, you know, like once I'm finished crying, I'm having a good cry. But once I'm done with this cry, I'm going to come over there and kill you.
In real life, I think once you get done crying, you can promise to go kill somebody. So I'll let you have that. What about you? What about you, Iggy? How does this affect you?
I think I already had like so many emotions coursing through me. Like adding this one on top of it is like really kind of pushing me over the edge. And I think I'm gonna grab Luna by this stupid new leather jacket of his and pull him in close and be like, you know, I remember every single detail of what you did. The way you wrapped your hands around my neck and throttled the life out of me. Carrying me over to the cliff, throwing me over into the water.
Saying those words too?
Yeah, I'm saying these words. Yeah. The sensation of being enveloped by the water. I remember it all, and I'll never forgive you. Sorry, 1 second, guys.
So when Luna hears that, they are
Well,
just.
hold on. Yeah,
Oh, should we wait?
I think there's a
Yeah,
move that's being invoked. So
Okay. Okay, that's
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, it's the ending move. So I describe my death, and that gives you the condition of morbid, and then I also roll to turn you on with my cold.
nice. So roll plus cold.
Yes.
You have all the conditions.
Luna's getting messed up.
I may have to like just my computer doesn't select these things well.
Do you mind if I roll for you then?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. All right. So oh my gosh. So what's your cold?
+2.
Okay. So you have a 13.
Woohoo!
Okay. So gain a string on Luna.
Okay.
Luna, you have to choose from that list.
Wow. To turn them on list.
Yeah.
I have so many strings on you.
So I choose the reaction, right?
You do.
Okay, I do. So I just choose one. Okay. I'm gonna go with I promise something I think you want. Right.
And what do you think Iggy wants?
I think Iggy wants me to suffer.
Oh, okay.
I think Iggy is so angry at me that I deserve some sort of punishment, right? So I'm going to give her what I think she wants. So Luna hears this, the blood, the color goes out of their face. It's like, is that what you want? Me to feel what you felt, right? Me to suffer like you suffered. I'm sorry. I was trying to save you. What? And then, how can I do that? So, gosh. How can I? So I don't know. I mean, maybe this is. Go ahead.
You killed Iggy when you were a werewolf, though, right? Like
Yeah,
when you're a werewolf, you don't have control over that as well. So I don't know. You could express that hope, like powerlessness, hopelessness, right? Because in her eyes, it's probably like it seemed like your intent.
Right. So maybe I'll kind of switch it to more I give myself to you, but in the following way, like, okay, I'll suffer, right? I'm yours to do with as you see fit. What can I do to I do with me as you want. Tell me, should I throw myself in the fire? Should I drown myself? Should I go and give myself over to your new master, the vampire who's everywhere? I've already lost. Tell me, what can I do, Iggy? And I collapse onto the ground on my knees.
Oh,
Tears like streaming down their cheeks.
And you have a weird boner as well.
Yeah, that's right. I'm also like, that's why I'm no longer angry. I need Iggy's affection. And so I'm a broken dog here. Not with much of the dignity tonight, Luna.
Do you have any ideas, Iggy, as to what you want to command them to do?
I mean, one of the things that popped in my head but I don't want things to get messed up narrative. I mean, like, one to just leave.
Well, yeah, I think that's a great answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, just leave and never speak to me again.
So this is hard for Luna, but Luna stands covered half in sand and tears and beer. squished can, and then stares at you for a minute. Nods once, glances over at Cassius and growls, and just walks off. You know, really, you can tell it's difficult, every step into the darkness. But Luna doesn't go very far. Luna will try and stay out of your sight. But Luna's going to be trying to follow Cassius wherever Cassius goes. Because Luna has only one thing Luna wants anymore.
A boner.
That too. But perhaps, you know.
Fine, 2 things.
Yeah, okay, 2 things. That and revenge. But yeah.
Okay. All right, so we got about 15 minutes left. I think this is a great place to stop the narrative for the day. What I'd like to do is some epilogues. What I want to know is what happens at school the next day. If you guys can imagine that. But yeah, so let's start with Fraser. Well, I'm sorry, with Cassius. You've kind of, I mean, these people were under your thrall to begin with. Is everyone just talking about your blood fetish, or is no one really mentioning it at all? What happens the next day at school? Just anything.
I imagine that like it's like a 50-50, like maybe there's rumors about me being like a vampire, but everyone's like, vampires don't exist, retard, and
right.
Stuff like that.
Sure.
So there's the people that are in on it and people that aren't. But what I think I would be doing is specifically looking out for Luna and turning that hate for revenge into like hate fucking, basically.
Cool. Nula, what's your first day of school like?
In earnest, sort of refusal to yeah, school is a lot less fun than parties, and the call of the ocean and knowing that they're after her. She can't return without her pelt. If they find her without her pelt, then I don't know, some kind of bad thing would happen, and she's going to generally try to enact or concoct a plan for maybe later that night to try to get her pelt back. But I think she's seen enough of the human world, and that knowing, that dirty feeling of somehow knowing that she was violated by this, really creepy individual who lied about being one with the water, is not something for her.
So at lunch,
she's going to try to leave.
Okay.
Get her pelt and go. That's her epilogue, I think.
Okay. So at lunchtime that day, a group of your kin sit down at the table with you, and they're like, we're here to take you home.
Well, then you're gonna have to help me with this guy, with this monster. And she gestures over and points out Luna, and would basically say, she'd be open and explain the situation to her kin. Be like, I'm sorry, like I got lost in the moment. I thought it was safe. I didn't know that humans would just steal things and take things on their own. She's been, I wouldn't say it's exactly a happy ending. She's sort of only passed on her sadness and had a brief introduction to the human world, but is not going to resist going back home. Okay.
Luna, what's class like?
Class is not so great for Luna. She, so Luna shows up. They show up late, right? They probably haven't slept. They've been out like prowling, walking, running under the moon. They're angry. They get in needless fights in the hallway. And when they see Nula, they're like, You didn't do it. I told you to find out what's going on with Cassius, and I look over and you guys are making out. This is not, I'm never giving this back to you.
We didn't hear you, Nula.
That was most definitely not making out. And I'm going to get that back, and I've got a gang to help.
Bring it on.
Very nice.
And yeah, I can say that Luna's plan is clearly to find out everything that they can know and get as close as possible to Cassius.
Great.
Whether that ends up, we'll see how that ends up in season 3 of Jagged.
Right.
So
Okay.
they can get their revenge or not.
All right, Iggy. What ends up happening for you?
Sorry, did you say it was me?
Yeah. What's your epilogue like?
I think somewhere in between where we cut off and the epilogue, like I do like a gaze in the abyss kind of thing, and I kind of like figure out that I was really just sort of like a pawn also in Cassius's scheme, and so I would like be like confronting Cassius, like, I don't know, maybe not the hallway, to somewhere relatively like private in school, and something along the lines of like, I know that you were using me, and maybe in some ways I was using you to get out of this relationship with Luna, and maybe we can continue using each other, and then I don't know, do something seductive.
Nice.
Maybe I sort of fetishize Cassius's lips, so maybe I finger along their lips. Yeah, something like that.
Cool. Okay. Just a brief, quick. I think they call it roses and thorns. Does anybody have any like, I really liked this, or I really wish for the next group you do the following? Any sort of suggestions or comments or criticisms?
No, I had a good time. I thought it was all great. Everyone's characters were good. Yeah.
Sure. Cool.
Same.
Yeah, I think you did a pretty good job, managing spotlight time, and I felt that everyone kind of got to tie in a little bit. It didn't feel like it. I've heard sometimes that Monsterhearts can get to be a bunch of little one-on-one things, and then everything's just interacting with the GM or the MC or the NPCs. And I think we had a lot of fun just directly like messing with the characters. And I think that's a sort of a testament to like Gauntlet style play, where, like, I know Fraser and I haven't gamed together, but like, we've at least talked in the Slack and stuff about like, yeah, that's a cool way to play for us. And, as long as, there are the appropriate safety tools and stuff in play, it was cool for me.
Okay. Anybody else?
I mean, I love the game. This was way better than my first experience with Monsterhearts.
Thank you.
Like, this was a great, like, the setup, I think, the way that it sort of propelled the characters together into, certain kinds of like conflicts, but it also wasn't like too constraining. Like, we did have enough room to sort of shape what those relationships would look like. So there was the right amount of sort of direction, but also freedom. So I think you did a really good job with like the scenario itself, running of the game, and the spotlight. That was really great. The only time where I felt like I was faltering, and it's also maybe just on me, is that I didn't. With like the ghost character, like that was like one of my first interactions, and like I didn't have a very good sense of like my relationship to the ghost, and like I didn't know what to do with that interaction. So that's the only I don't know if that's a criticism or fault or anything, but that was just like one part of like the gameplay where I felt sort of a little bit at a loss.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of felt bad for like doing the thing that you shouldn't do to the ghost, which is like ignore them and shut them down. But by the same token, like we had a 4-person group and there was plenty to go on without involving the NPC, and they formed an interesting pivot and somebody to have some ties to. But I think after that was kind of accomplished, it's unsatisfying in some sense, but I agree that it was okay to have her leave after a while, or him.
Sure. Eugene?
Yeah, I mean, same deal. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I think that one thing that might have been useful just to save time would be knowing, like, having that starting document include, just make explicit, like, that we know, like, that the werewolf knows that the ghoul is alive, and that the werewolf knows that the ghoul, you know what I mean? Like, state some of those basic, unless you want to intentionally leave that open, because there was some ambiguity. I was like, well, wait a minute. Right as we're getting into the first scenes, I'm like, have we met? Do I know? Those sorts of things. Maybe that was just, yeah.
I think what I'll do is I leave it open intentionally, but I'll ask the questions before we begin play.
Yeah.
And verify what people know, what people don't know.
Yeah, that might work.
And there's always that idea that it's player knowledge, if not character knowledge. And I guess sometimes that's an annoying boundary. And yeah, there's lots of thought about that.
Sure. Okay, great game, guys. Head on to your next game.
One last thing. What I do for con games is I let people pick their moves as it comes up in the fiction too. So if they can pick an extra move, I say don't worry about picking it. Just if something happens in the fiction, you're like, this move would be perfect, just take that and just go.
Okay,
that's a good idea.
That'll actually speed up character creation too. So
yeah, sweet.
Got to run to another game, so I will. It was lovely playing with all of you. Nice to meet you all virtually.
Same.
Yeah, likewise.
Same.
Ditto.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Alrighty, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.